Hey there, Internet. You don't mind if I call you Internet, do you, Internet? I didn't think so. Well, one of you doesn't like to be called the Internet. Well, you can just get over it, Internets. What do we got today? What do we have today? Well, we got Octopouch. What could Octopouch be hiding today? The Carver's Customs Octopouch. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, hello. Who are you? What's your name? My name is the United Maching Bow Tie. Ooh, and I bumped the camera. Hi, United Maching Bow Tie. How are you today? Well, we're not gonna have the spinner talk all video. We're just gonna bring it in and look at it in a glorious 60 frames. Really nice. So this is on loan from the Hazard collection, the old jacket. Man, this is gonna be a problem. Like it's, oh, you can actually see it. See, I keep bumping into that. Let's put this like that. Let's see if we can solve that problem. A little fourth wall break for you there, Internet. So this is the United Maching Bow Tie, and I think first things, I think we really need to get these buttons off, so we can appreciate this because this thing is gorgeous. And let me tell you, I was just looking at their website just to try to get a little bit of info because I was for sure it was sold out, and it's actually not sold out. This thing went for about $100. It's on sale right now for like $54, $55. I think $54.99. I'm not sure what the shipping is depending on where you're at. And I think there's only 15 left out of the 500 they made, or $4.99. So you'll notice on the inside of the caps, they all say this, one of $4.99. So this is one of $4.99. My cuticles are really dry. Sorry about that. Should I hide that? Anywho, well, let's take a look at the machining. Now, you can't appreciate this unless you really see it and feel it. So I'm hoping with as close as my videos tend to get and the quality you tend to get, you can really appreciate all the different curves. So essentially what you've got is not a flat surface on this. So at a glance from here, you see a bunch of machining marks, but look at, see this? This one kind of big dish here, and then it kind of gets a little bit of a ridge here, and then you get a little bit of a dish here. And this little dish in the middle. It swoops down quite a bit, all the sides swoop in, and you get some like swooping like right in here. But yet you've got all these lines going other ways, causing really interesting things with the reflection of the light. So, pretty friggin' rad. Now you may notice that I keep bumping the camera, that this is not an R188 bearing, if you're astute, and you would be right. This is a 7-ball hybrid ceramic. I don't know which one it is, but it's smaller than an R188 with the post. Now, when I got this, I was chatting with old Jack, or young Jack, I guess, as it were, but with old Jack Hazard. And he was saying that he thinks the bearing needs to be replaced on this, and I was spinning it, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I think you're right, because listen. And you get this, man, what are we going to do about this? You get this subtle vibration in your fingers that feels like, almost like one of the bearings is like broken, knocking around in there. So I said I'd switch it out. I believe this is an R188 size in terms of the overall diameter. It just has a smaller, hole in the middle for the post. And I was like, yeah, I'll switch that out for you. But first thing I wanted to do was clean it out. And I cleaned it out, and it didn't really get any smoother, maybe a little bit. But I said, let me just test the spin times on this, because that's really going to tell me if the bearing's in really bad shape. Because it almost has, I was spinning a couple 608s today, and they just have such a different feel, but they do feel a little rattly, a little grindy almost, with the larger balls and stuff in there. And I'm like, with that smaller post, those balls in there are larger than what we're seeing with a lot of our R188s. And there's only 7 of them in there. So let me give it a spin. See what kind of spin times we can get out of this guy. So on a table spin, we got 4 minutes and 12 seconds. Pretty good for a table spin for a light spinner. So I was like, it didn't seem like it was really giving up or having any issues. So let's weigh this. Right, so 65 grams, 68, 7 grams, let's call it what it is, but not far off the 65 gram range. Relatively light spinner. Now it does have, I'm pretty sure these are aluminum buttons. So the buttons are adding a lot of weight there, so most of that mass is the spinner. And you can see it tapers up. Keep those buttons tight. It tapers out, so a lot of your weight is further out. So you're definitely going to be getting a little bit more mass distributed there. So I said, well, I want to set up and maybe try to record a couple videos tonight. So let me do a vertical spin and put this guy in a clamp. And that'll be maybe relevant, but a lot of times when you spin in a clamp, the spinner stays perfectly still, and especially with bars, when you're, if you do this, you can really slow down a spin, right? Like that was, that's maybe 10 seconds and I've nearly stopped it, right? So if you're not holding it perfectly still, so even just a little bit of, I'm obviously exaggerating there, but your hand's gonna move a little bit when you do it. So I figured doing it in a clamp, we might get a little longer spin time, but I wanted to kind of, again, get some other things set up to maybe do a couple of videos tonight. What do you think we got in a vertical spin on this guy? So keep in mind, I'm really hyping it up, so you're probably gonna overestimate, but take a second to guess. Table spins, 4 minutes and 12 seconds, 67 gram spinner. How long would you think our vertical spin was? Well, if you guessed over 8 minutes, you'd be right. If you guessed over 8.5 minutes, you'd be right. If you guessed over 9 minutes, you'd be right. If you guessed over 9 minutes and 30 seconds, you'd actually be wrong. 9 minutes and 13 seconds on a vertical spin on this. I was like, come on, I got videos to record tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to record everything I want to record if I gotta wait 10 minutes for this thing to finish spinning. So, but pretty impressive. And then after seeing that spin, I'm like, well, the bearing really can't be that bad. If it was really damaged, that would be enough friction, I would think, to slow this thing down. I don't know enough about bearings, but I know once you drop them and bang them up, in my experience, the spin time is all but shot in most of them. So, anywho. Look how glorious it looks. So it's got a really, really cool spin profile. And again, with this 60 frames per second, this bright light, you see just about exactly what I see. And then as you turn it, right, you hit different facets. All of a sudden it's very bright. You don't really see much through it. And then you turn it like this, and then look at it like that. It's like transparent. So it's got a really cool spin profile in person. How is it to fidget with? Well, this right here is awesome. It's the complete opposite of what you would expect of a finger groove. Instead of poking in, instead of curving in, it curves out, but it's still like perfect to grab your finger on. Great for preloaded. On top of the fact, now again, completely opposite of what you would expect. This curves down instead of curving up, but with all the lines and the machining on here, it's just tons of grip. All really smooth, all very interesting, very tactile feel, very nice, satisfying, unique experience on this guy. Really feels nice along the edges here, along the sides. These buttons at first I didn't really like, and I'll be honest, I'm inside and I've definitely warmed up a bit, and I'm getting tons of grip on these buttons right now, but I can tell you that was not the case when I first started handling these. These buttons were very slippery, so I think it's a situation where, depending on the condition of your fingers, right, especially now that we're in the winter season, we're getting a lot of that. These buttons have a lot of the very similar lines. Really excellent machine and excellently finished, if we haven't said that enough yet. Really just amazing finish on this guy. Or amazing, not finish, what's the word I'm looking for? Amazing quality control? That's not really what I'm looking for, but like the fit and finish on this guy is immaculate. Like these buttons, look at them, gorgeous buttons. And it's actually a spiral out. Whoa. Internet, you will send me macaroni pictures and popcorn shakers, where we put the popcorn in between 2 paper plates and glue them together. But really, really well done, and just a slight dish in the middle, not too much. So in some situations, great grip. Other times I found not the greatest grip. But you would look at this shape and sure, it looks like you're gonna get purchase and you're gonna get grip and good for fidgeting. But again, I was really surprised to see how much grip I got off a point, or like this rounded edge. You can grab it on the inside of that as well, also works. Whoops. But for me, it's really getting it on the outside of this point. Flicking with either finger works really well, very satisfying, easy to get in there, easy to stop, being that it's not too heavy. It's pretty easy to interrupt the spin. It feels heavier when you're fidgeting it than it may look, but again, that 67 grams, almost all of it is spinner, and a lot of it's pushed to the outside, so you kind of do feel like you got to wind up a little bit to get it going in there. But really, really satisfying spinner, and again, with the sale that's going on for it now, this probably is right in the $100 range in terms of like the machining, the fit and finish. The 95 bucks I think they're asking for it isn't far off a mark. But the 55 I think that it's going for now, while there's a handful left, and they're probably not going to make any more. So if you think you like this, you really need to get on it, I think is what it comes down to. So we talked about a lot of positives, negatives, kind of hit on them a bit. These buttons that sometimes can be really slippery. I don't get how that works, how it's sometimes like I got like traction for days, and then other times it's a little slippery. And then that bearing, I don't know if all the bearings are like that. I can't say I've really heard that mentioned. And it doesn't really feel too bad if you like a bit of feedback, but it's a little noisy. It does feel a little bit damaged, and this bearing may actually be damaged, so it's hard for me to really say. Again, it's from the Jack Hazard collection, so he's bouncing them off the walls and off the cats and dogs, and that's not really true. Love you, Jack. But he does tricks, so I wouldn't doubt that this thing might have taken a hit or a fall or two. I mean, he's good with his stuff. I mean, it's not destroyed by any means, but you know what I'm saying. I can't say how good of a condition this bearing has been kept in his career. I should say if that's really a fault of these, but I think with that larger style bearing, you're gonna get a different feedback feel. So either way, a hybrid ceramic with that larger size with 7 balls, you're gonna have to be ready to get a little bit of feedback. But I love me a little bit of feedback. Bar judder is pretty pronounced as well. I know I don't talk about that all the time with my bars, and it's something I'd like to. There's so much stuff I want to bring up. I always forget something. Just how it is, internet. But the bar judder is not too terrible. But again, I think this thing, when you first pick it up, it fidgets like a heavier spinner than you would expect, almost the opposite of the compo form, where the compo form is just so much lighter for what you expect. This guy's a little misleading. Aluminum buttons, stainless steel body, machined all over the place, only 65 grams, yet feels a little heavier. So if you want a feeling of a heavier spinner without a heavy spinner, this may be the one for you as well. But again, look at how gorgeous she looks. Even getting a little bit of warping. So that warping I don't see IRL. IRL. Fight me IRL, internet. But yeah, really nice little spinner. So that is the United Maching Bow Tie. Yeah, you can hear that noise on the wood there a little bit. On the spinner board by Cody over at 6sgear.com. So anywho, internet, that is, I think that's all we got to say. Can I recommend this? I like a lot of it. I think I give it the 1.5 awkward thumbs up, as great as it is. And I can't really think of a lot of negative things, and I think it's fantastic for what it is. I can say, I don't know. I just don't feel like it's in like with all the spinners that I have, and thinking of like where this would fit in like a top 10, it definitely wouldn't be in, I think, a top 10 for me, but it really is good. I don't know. Maybe 1 3/4 thumbs up. I just don't think it's kind of like that world-class must-have spinner, but at the same time, I can't find much to fault with it, and it's a fantastic form, and it's really fun, and it looks great, and it's got a good feel. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. But I do really like it, and I think if you're thinking about it, jump on it before it's too late and you can't get them. So that has been the United Machining's Bow Tie there, internets. So I'll leave you with that. Kisses.